Hey guys, welcome to Realistic Crypto, and this is the second video in a series of videos where I take you through my process end to end for finding profitable DCA bots. In the first video, we looked at how to find a collection of pairs that you want to backtest against and get them into a watch list. So if you haven't checked that out already, I'll leave a link to that somewhere here and in the description below. This video is focused on the indicators and strategies that you need to undertake the backtesting. Now, two things to start off with. First of all, you do need a TradingView account to do this. If you don't have a TradingView account, you can click the link in the description below and sign up there. The backtesting process is absolutely free. You don't need a paid plan in TradingView to do the backtesting. The only thing that you will need a paid subscription to do is to get all of the pairs into a single watch list, because we use the crypto pair screener. You can see that in video 1. And then there are certain conditions when you need to create the bot in either 3Commas or Mizar or in whatever platform of choice you have, where you may need to use TradingView to trigger the open deal condition. So we'll talk about that for 3Commas and Mizar in the next video, the next two videos. But what we'll do now is we'll look at how to backtest what strategies and indicators you need, and we'll go through those with the indicator, and we'll look at the settings that are available within those. We'll then look at how we pull both of those together, and then what we'll do is look at some examples, some profitable examples at the end of the video as well. So first of all, what you're going to need is the backtesting indicator and the strategy. Now, these aren't publicly available on TradingView. They are private scripts, so you will need to go and get those from a Discord community. Now, that Discord community is called ZCrypto. It's managed and owned by TZacks, and there's a lot of really useful content and information within that Discord group. Not only are there these scripts here to use for DCA bot backtesting, but there are a number of other scripts that you can get access to for absolutely free. There's also a bot within that Discord group that can provide you with support and resistance information, DCA settings for bots, for pairs, grid bot settings for pairs. There's a whole host of really useful information in there. So I would absolutely recommend you going to check that out. But to get access to these, you need to join that Discord group, and you can get access to both of those once you've got access to that group. Now, what you will need to do is you'll need to find the TradingView script channel within the Discord group, and you will need to head across to the TradingView URLs that are in there, and I'll just pull that up on screen right now. And you want to find the 3Commas all built-in indicator, and you want to find the Zendog DCA tester. And once you click on those links, it's going to take you out to TradingView. You want to scroll down and you want to add those to your favorite indicators. Now, once you've done that, you can head across to indicators, and you can find the 3Commas all built-in indicators here, and you can find the Zendog backtester updated down here as well. Here are, again, a bunch of other scripts that are available within that community that are absolutely free. So now that we've got those the indicator and the strategy added to the chart, let's take a look first of all at the backtester. So the backtester has a number of different settings in there. We have the deal start and end conditions. So this is what's the condition that I want to open a trade, what's the condition that I want to open a safety order in that deal, and when do I want to end that deal and end that trade. Now, that's all configurable here, and we'll go into how the indicator works with the strategy in just a minute. If you aren't using the indicator with this strategy, then you will have the RSI 7 set as a standard, and what that will mean is that deal start will be looking for a certain RSI 7 value. So if I change that to less than 20, what you will see is, let's just do that again. What you'll see is, we'll change that to 30. We had 4 deals. We've now got 6. So this is what is being used to open a deal. Now, if we scroll down, we've got other strategy settings in here. So things like strategy type, is it long, is it short, the base order size, and then the safety order size, take profit, percent. We've got stop loss settings, max safety trade count, the price deviation to open those safety trades, the safety order volume scale, that controls how large the safety orders become. If that's set to 1 and we have a safety order size of 200, that means on the first safety order, you're going to get a safety order of 200. On the second safety order, you're going to get a safety order of 200. If you double that to 3, on the first safety order size, you're going to get 200. On the next one, you're going to get 400. On the next one, 800, etc., etc. And we can look at that in a little minute as well when we get through to looking at some of those examples. We then have the safety order step scale. So this changes the price deviation to open those safety trades. As an example, if that's set at 1, your first safety order trade would kick in at 3.5% under your entry price, and then the second one would kick in at 7%, 3.5% in addition to that. If you step that up to 2, your first safety order trade will open at 3.5%. Your second one will then be a further 7% underneath that, and so on and so on. For the backtesting, you can also limit the date range, and you can also add a timeout. Now, I use this functionality a lot, but it is really useful to control your risk within trades. As an example, I don't like to be in trades for a prolonged period of time. I'd rather be in, I'd rather be out, and if it doesn't work out, I'd rather it close at a loss and then move on to the next trade. We also have some settings in here to control the 3 commas bot from the strategy itself in TradingView. I don't use this. So for 3 commas, I configure those manually myself within 3 commas. I don't use the strategy to control that for me. Then the next thing, and this is quite important, is make sure that the commission percentage reflects the commission that you are getting charged on the exchange. If you are in and out of hundreds of deals, this can have a significant impact on the profit and the profit percentage. So make sure that that is absolutely reflective. Now, what we also have is some visuals down here. So if you're trading with Bitcoin rather than USDT, what you might want to do is bump up the decimals for display so that you can see more decimal places. That is really useful if you are trading with anything other than USDT. We're going to leave it as 2 for now because the examples that we're going to use are at USDT. And then you can also see other settings in here, so you can see where each of the base orders would be in this table down here based on current settings. Again, I like to have that unticked. It's not a visual that I use. So that's the Zendog Backtester. Let's just take a quick look at the all-in-one. And what we'll do is we'll just hide this for a minute. So this indicator has been built by TZacks, and he shared this with the community for free. But what this allows you to do is this allows you to take multiple deal start conditions and put them all together to find better entries to just the RSI. And if you're familiar already with 3 commas, you'll know that you can add multiple deal start conditions. You could add, multiple RSI values. You could add a multiple technical analysis presets like ULT, Bollinger Bands, MACD, money flow index, etc. So there's a whole host of options that we have in here. And what this indicator allows you to do is to combine those together to get those better entries. So what we're going to do is, first of all, let's just talk very quickly about a couple of things. So we have this activate BTC and DXY filters. What this looks at is the trend of both BTC and the DXY to filter out trades where both of those are not in an uptrend. Now, this is not available in 3 commas, and therefore you need to create all of your deal entry alerts within TradingView if you want to use this filter. Now, we'll talk about how you can do that with 3 commas with Mizar in the follow-up videos. And we're not going to go into that in detail in this video, but this is a really, really useful filter tool that you can find some really profitable settings on. But what we're going to look at is in this indicator, we're going to look at 2 things. So first of all, we're going to look at how you activate it and how you integrate it into the Backtester. And then we're going to look at some profitable settings and combinations that I've found within that indicator. So first of all, we want to tick this activate Zendog backtesting, and what you will find is once you've done that is you will find that you will see these blue lines appear on your chart. Don't worry about them. What they do is they tell the backtester when to open a deal and when to close a deal if you use some of the closing conditions as well. But what you want to do is you want to tick activate Zendog backtesting. What that's going to do is that's going to activate all of these options here. So when you choose multiple options within this section here, it's going to return a 100 value in a blue plot on the chart. Now, if we scroll all the way down, we've also got take profit conditions. So what this looks at is 3 commas recently introduced the option to add take profit conditions that weren't percentage based. So you could take profit based on the RSI closing above or being greater than a certain value, and that would effectively close your trade out. Now, to use these, you also need to activate the take profit conditions here. And what you'll see is that's now plotted another line on the chart, which is at the 20 level. So 100 indicates a buy, 20 indicates a sell. Now, what we'll do is we'll very quickly look at how that is set up within the backtester. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back to the all-in-one indicator and look at some of the options that we've got and some of the options that we've set here. And then we'll look at some examples. So now that we've activated both the buy conditions and the take profit conditions, we want to head back to the Zendog backtester. And we want to hit the settings button here. And where we've got deal start type, we want to change that to external indicator. Where we've got deal end type, we want to change that to external indicator. If you don't want to use the take profit conditions that exist in the all-in-one indicator, you can leave this as take profit, and it will look at the percentage that you have configured within the strategy itself rather than the take profit conditions that are in the indicator. So if we scroll down, we then have external indicator. We want to drop this down and we want to change that to 3 commas all in one. The deal start operator, so this is when do I open a deal? That is that 100 figure that's plotted on the chart in these blue lines here. And the deal end operator is equal to 20. So each of these, the blue lines say open a trade, the blue 100 lines say open a trade, the blue 20 lines say close a trade. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to head back to the indicator for a minute. We're going to click on style and we're going to untick TZ. What that's going to do is that's going to remove the blue lines from the chart to allow us to see what's happening within the backtester. Now, as you can see, the green lines, the green arrows under the bars, they indicate a buy signal, and the red ones indicate a sell signal. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to use the sell conditions. There are profitable options to use, and they just take some time to work out and find. But if you're interested in using those, then that's how you do it. If you want to use the take profit percentage as the deal end type, you want to set this deal end type to take profit, and it'll go back to the percentage. Now that we've done that, let's just take a quick look at all in one and just see what options we have available to us. So these aren't standard settings. These are ones that I'm just using as an example for this video. But what we're saying here is we're saying that we want to activate the RSI, and on the 5-minute time frame, we want the RSI to be less than 50, and on the 1 hour, we want it to be less than 70. If both of those conditions are met, then we want to say on the MACD, when there's a crossover on the 5-minute time frame, cross up, then that's another deal start condition too. So when all three of these conditions are met, we want you to open a trade, open a deal. Now, as you can see, in this instance for Terra Classic, it's not that profitable. It's been stuck in a trade for 56 days. And bear with me a second, because what we'll do is we'll just remove the other table from the 3C. Indicator a minute. So what we can see is been in a trade for just over 56 days, and it's $357 in the negative. Now, if we head back into the Zendog backtester, this is where the effort begins, and the effort is really required in both of these indicators to find profitable settings and setups and configurations. But if we just take a look at some of the settings here, what we're going to do is we're just going to drop down some of these numbers to 20 and 20 for base order and safety order. Take profit is a little bit high, particularly for the settings that we've got here. So let's just half that and drop that to 1.5%. What we also have is we'll leave max safety trades. I typically do use higher safety trades count, but we'll leave that as it is for now. And we're just going to drop the percentage deviation to 2.5. We'll double up the step order volume scale, and we'll drop the safety order step scale down to 1. Now, once those settings update, what you can see is that this doesn't have a timeout, it doesn't have a stop loss set, but already this has become profitable. Now, we have been in deals for 13.2 days. For some people, that might be absolutely fine. However, I prefer to close a deal out if um, if it's open for an extended period of time. So the way that you can do this is by using the plan B that exists within the Zendog backtester to drop that to 32 hours. And what we'll do is we'll close the deal at minus 100%. So what that's going to do is that's going to say, well, if we're in the deal for 32 hours, and again, this is just an example for this video, if we're in the deal for 32 hours, close the deal after 32 hours, and it doesn't matter what price it's at, just close it. Now, what this does is this actually brings the profitability of this pair down. But this is where the first video that we talked about adding the pairs to the watch list, this is where this becomes useful. So at the minute, we're on Terra Classic. These settings might work against 20 different pairs. And this is where the effort comes into finding those pairs. So what we want to do here is we can use the arrow keys on this watch list and we can start to scroll down and find setups that could be profitable. So as an example here, 0.18%. Here, 0.24% per day. We've got Matic, which is 0.09% a day. And if we scroll down, there are a couple that we did see some good profitability on. So here, 0.64% per day. So all of this is a bit of trial and error. There's a lot of effort and time that needs to go into finding these profitable pairs. And one of the other things that I do when I look for these profitable pairs is I flag the ones that are above a certain percentage. So as an example, I might say if it's above 0.5%, let's flag it green. If it's above 1%, let's flag it red. What that allows me to do is at the end, sort it by the flags that we have and look at the ones that give me the highest percentage. That then gives me two options. The first option is I could set up 4 single pair DCA bots and only trade the ones that are the most profitable. Alternatively, I could take all of those that are flagged and create a multi-pair bot and allow deals to open across all of those profitable pairs. Both have their upsides, both have the downsides. The single pair option will mean that you are in less trades less frequently, but you are in the most profitable pairs, so therefore your capital is being held for those more profitable setups versus the multi-deal where you're in and out and whatever. And if you find multi-pair, lots of deals open, more stressful than single pair, then single pair might be for you. But again, it's all down to preference. So we've covered the tools that we need to do the backtesting. We've covered the settings that exist in both the indicator and the strategy, and we've also covered some profitable setups. Now, the only other thing to really mention here is there's a couple of do's and don'ts. So first of all, don't assume that the same settings will work on the same pair on different exchanges. So as an example, if we take Matic on KuCoin and we look at the profit of a total of 6.87%, and we take Matic and look at that on Binance, it won't be 6.87%. It's very similar, but it won't be the same. And you'll find that a lot of these pairs between different exchanges vary. And they vary because on some exchanges there's less liquidity, they move in different ways, and just make sure you stick to the same exchange. As I mentioned earlier, make sure that you include the commission that you are being charged on the exchange. This can really vary the profit that you get in each of these deals. If you have a paid TradingView subscription, go and backtest against more data. And what I mean by that is, if we go back down to go find Trias again as an example. Let's just head up here. Then this was the 0.64% per day. What you can do on those paid subscriptions, and it does vary by subscription how much data you have access to. You can hit the replay button up here, and what that will allow you to do is choose when you want to go back in, choose which date you want to become the end date. And what that does is it gives you access to all of the candle information from the previous period as well. So as an example, just these settings on Trias would have a profit of 0.3% from the 1st of August through till the 16th of October. And then an additional 0.64% or 48.33% from the 17th of October through to the 31st of December. That can give you more confidence that just looking at the current period of time is not just a fluke, or it's not just the trend that it's in. If we can backtest against as much data as possible, that leads to more confidence that you're going to get some solid results. I think then the only last thing to mention again is that this is all just trial and error. There's a lot of time and effort that needs to go into finding profitable setups, understanding what the deal start conditions do, particularly in the all-in-one indicator, will put you at a real advantage when you are backtesting against those pairs. And also, when we looked back into that first video, I talked about volume and the average volume that each of the pairs have done over the last 60 days. That can be important, particularly when you're doing single pair bots with a high amount of capital invested into a single bot. As an example, the backtester doesn't take into account the volume that's been traded, and therefore would your deals actually close in that volume? So again, it's not a perfect science. It is something that you will build confidence with as you use it and as you backtest. So all of this is available for free. The backtester and the all-in-one indicator can be found on the zCrypto community Discord. There's a link to that in the description below. There's a link to the Realistic Crypto Discord group below as well. If you do want to talk about backtesting, DCA bots, passive income, all of those things in more detail, then I am around in both the zCrypto and in my own Discord group. So by all means, come join us, reach out, ask any questions that you want. But that covers the backtesting section of this series. So thank you very much, everybody, and goodbye.